Moved by Ms. Motley, second by Ms. Gleason. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Motley?
Aye.
Mrs. Gleason?
Aye.
Mrs. Bliss? Aye. Ms. Lot?
Aye.
Mr. Wickham?
Aye.
Mrs. Ressler?
Aye. Moving on to 3.1, our superintendent report.
Just a brief report, Ms. Ressler. Just want to thank the board and Board President Ressler specifically for supporting us, being flexible, moving to e-learning today. Hopefully everyone's able to stay warm and in the comfort of their home. Happy to report that we just got our attendance data for today, had 90% attendance. So I think parents and students supported the move too, and it worked out really well. So again, just appreciate the flexibility. So,
Our principal reports.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening from the Braves. Want to report that our freshman orientation, we had that as we came back from winter break for the class of 2029, and that went smoothly. We did it in an open house format, and it was great to see all of our incoming families and incoming 8th graders that are soon to be freshmen. We had a lot of compliments just about the elective teachers that we had, the facilities, how clean and beautiful everything was. So that's a testament, obviously, to our custodial staff, our teachers that came to support us that night, and obviously all of the great families that we have joining us next year. This past week, we recognized over 300 students at our student recognition breakfast for a lot of different accomplishments during the first semester. Our students enjoyed day dishes, breakfast pastries, they had a cup of iced coffee or tea, played bingo, and some other fun games and won prizes. I want to congratulate our maestro, Ben Salgado, and our few of our band members who were recently recognized for SSC All-Conference Band. They performed at Evergreen Park last week, so that was a big accomplishment for them. Those students in the jazz ensemble were Yaslin Ramirez and Ernesto Lozano. For concert band, we had Kiera Booz, Alec Lorenz, Esteban Leo, Kamaya Johnson, Allison Walker, and Maya Contreras. Finally, winter athletics is kind of winding down, so we are moving into the postseason for all of our athletics seasons. Boys bowling just wrapped up their conference tournament. We did have a sectional qualifier at the regional tournament last week, and that is Dylan Houlihan, so we're excited to see how he does going into Friday's sectional. And our boys basketball team went 4-0 last week. They have had a roller coaster of a season, but things are kind of coming together here at the end, which we love to see. They had big wins over Argo, Evergreen Park, Sandburg, and Homer Prep last week. So looking forward to winding down, seeing how our teams do as they compete at the end of the winter season, and then gearing up for the spring, which is crazy to think is right around the corner. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. I am here to deliver the good news report from Tony Park High School in the place of Dr. Nolan. So a couple of things we're very excited to report from the end of last semester. We had 107 students earn industry certification in the various areas: drone certification, OSHA, Microsoft Office and Word and Excel, food handling, and SurfSafe. So we are very excited about just the progress that our CTE program is taking and continuing to thrive. We are also we are planning the FCCLA regional competition that we'll host on February 5th. And again, a way to showcase and highlight all of the different skills that our students and the students in the surrounding area are learning and developing in. So that is something, if you guys have a few minutes to pop in, it is throughout the entire day. It'll be mainly in the gym, so please feel free to join us. We have like to congratulate our junior student, Amira Hamad, who was the Regional Voice of Democracy competition winner. She was selected, this is a competition through the VFW, and she will represent this region in Springfield in February. Ultimately, students advance from the state to the national level and could potentially win a $35,000 scholarship. So this is the next step in that process, and we're pretty excited. She's a pretty talented writer and also speech giver. We have, from the world of athletics, congratulations to two of our students who were named all-conference bowlers in the SSC conference, Anthony Harris and Logan Krusel. And we would like to recognize our staff member, Coach Nick Johnston, who received the Illinois Track and Field Assistant Coach of the Year Award. So that was a very nice recognition as well. That's all I have. Thank you.
Good evening from Hillcrest High School. We weren't in session today, so I have to go off my phone and the last board meeting and then break and things like that, a couple of things of note. The second to last week before break, we held our annual 5-star, well, we do one each semester, 5-star recognition assembly. We have a group called Pep Rally Takeover that comes in. They usually provide music and games and things like that. And they also brought, now I had to Google this person because I had never heard of her before, but Fendi the rapper performed her song too. I don't know, the kids knew who she was, maybe some of you guys do, I'm not really sure, but they were excited when she showed up, so that was good. It was a great afternoon for the kids, and basically, to qualify for that club activity, athletics, be involved, we've been promoting involvement, the more you're involved, the better your experience, that type of thing, and attending events. When you check in with your 5-star, you get points, and so there's a certain number of points that you get, and we do a recognition, one in the fall, one in the spring, so that was our fall recognition. Also, before break, we had 33 students this year that were early grads for us, which is a high number for Hillcrest for sure. I think we had like 13, 14 last year. It's some of my favorite days because I get to meet and sit down, not meet, but talk to some of the early grads. And we had a little event in the IMC for them, sort of to celebrate. We'll still see many of them. They'll come back for prom, graduation, things like that, but that was great to have them, to sort of celebrate their accomplishment of graduating early. Also, one other thing, building trades. I know one of the times 2 meetings ago, had you guys check out building trades and what we're doing down there. Mr. Harrington did another really nice little thing. He had his students in his class put together little wooden plaques for their favorite teachers, happy holidays, and that type of thing with a hawk on there that they were able to engrave. Really nice little memento for some of the staff before break. Since we've returned, Adventure Club. Kara Triesenberg runs Adventure Club, and Scott Buchanan, former associate principal at Hillcrest, he and his wife know curling very well. You guys know curling from the Olympics? Every year we have a group, we had like 15, 16 kids that went down to Kankakee, one of their ice rinks, and went curling. And the kids have a blast when they go, learning a new sport on the ice, that type of thing. So that just happened last week. And then 2 things on the athletic front. Giorgio McClown qualified for sectionals in bowling. He was a top 10 in conference. I was looking up the results. Out of the 10 individual qualifiers that moved on from regional to sectional, 7 of them were district kids. So we had 1, Oak Forest had, I think, 2, Bremen had 2, something like that. So 7 of the 10 kids were actually district athletes that qualified and moved on to sectionals. So that was a nice showing by the district. And then last, Aramis Wright, senior football player, great kid, recently recognized by the Illinois High School Football Coaches Association All-State. So he's on the All-State team. He was slated to go South Dakota, coach?
Yes, he changed though. Sorry.
South Dakota, and his coach left South Dakota to go to Washington State. So now Aramis is going to Washington State. So he'll be playing the West Coast at Washington State. But fantastic kid, we're super happy. So as I told you before, we had an all-stater in flag football, and now we have an all-stater in regular football as well. So that's all. Thanks.
Thank you.
Good evening from Oak Forest High School. Hopefully everyone stays warm today. It's my pleasure to give you some good news from Oak Forest High School. As everyone has mentioned, winter sports is starting to wrap up. So it's a fun time here. We have some highlights. Our boys bowling won conference this year, and they have done that for the last 11 consecutive years. So they've really become quite a powerhouse in the boys bowling program, and a special shout out to Aiden Kidd. He was the overall individual champ. Our cheer team won our Bengal invite this past Sunday, and our dance team took second in conference at the varsity level, with the JV team ending their season as conference champs. On the activities front, our chess team took second in conference, and our junior Jimmy Benalis earned all conference honors. And we have several service projects going on. If you've come down our hallways, you might have seen some of the different boxes that we have out there. Our Interact Toy Drive that we did a couple weeks ago, they filled over 20 toys. And those are for the Pediatric Oncology Treasure Chest. Then we have a senior, Tanya Wiseman. She was recognized as a leader making an impact with the Giving Heart Foundation. She does some work with them, but she's also currently leading the Oak Forest High School shoe drive. If you saw some of those boxes on the way down. So if you are getting a jump on your spring cleaning and you have any extra shoes, we're taking those for the shoe drive. We had a Martin Luther King Day of Service, and we had over 50 students attend Feed My Starving Children, where they work boxing up different meals for children around the world. They were able to provide boxes that will provide 23,000 children around the world with a meal. So I highlight service sort of at the end there because our presentation tonight, I'm going to welcome some of our Bengals here in the audience, are going to talk a little bit about a program that we have here at Oak Forest High School. So I just want to preface it a little bit, introduce you to some of Bengals' finest here. We've got Joey and Josh and Jacob and Ryan and Morgan, some of our mostly seniors, but one junior. Those are some of our Bengals, and they're going to talk to you a little bit tonight about a program that we have running here where they work through the varsity club and work with our school social workers. Our two social workers that are here tonight, Lily Holman and then Carrie Pekka. Our third, unfortunately, she is home with the stomach flu, unfortunately, so I'm sure she's missing us tonight, but I'm sure she'd rather be here than be home. But for tonight, what we're going to present on is a program that we started 3 years ago. And 3 years ago, our social workers sort of heeded the call. Everyone will remember about 3 years ago, we came back from the COVID pandemic. And Mr. Boniface, do you have the, thank you. And one of the things that we wanted to start here at Oak Forest High School was really focusing on the social emotional learning component for our students. So our social workers rose to the challenge of working with all of our freshmen in the Freshman Learning Center to teach them about emotions. So the program that we're using is something called Ruler. And Ruler comes from Yale University Center for Emotional Intelligence. And the premise behind the curriculum is that we're teaching students how to recognize their emotions, being able to understand that everyone has emotions and that every emotion is a healthy emotion. It's just how you work with it. It helps students to label what emotions they're feeling, and then talking to them about appropriate ways to express emotion, and then teach them ways that you can regulate emotions. So it's based on the research out of Yale University, and it is across the world. It's a program that they use. It's actually a curriculum that many schools use across the world. And as I mentioned, the premise behind it is really getting students to understand, their emotions and be able to deal with those emotions. So we started the program 3 years ago with the social workers going in and teaching these lessons for all of our freshmen. And what happened last year is that the social workers came and said, you know what, Jane, I think this is a great thing we have going on, but I really think we have students that can benefit from looking up to role models within our building and having some of these different activities that we do during the Ruler lessons, having some of those experiences where their counterparts, students who are just a couple years older than them, would be able to tell them how they use these skills and how they've been able to develop. So I am going to let them take away with the presentation, and they will all introduce themselves a little bit more as time goes on, in case you didn't catch their names.
Perfect. Oh, thank you.
Sure.
So I'm Carrie Pekka. I'm one of the social workers at Oak Forest. Like Mrs. Dempsey said, one of the pluses of Ruler, I've been doing it since the first year it started, so for 3 years, is one of the benefits I really see is getting us exposed to the freshmen. We go in and co-teach with the health teachers every semester for 2 days, but this is more of a consistent basis. We really get familiar with the freshmen. I think it helps them know us as a good resource. It really gets them to know our faces. Every time we introduce ourselves, we say our alpha slice. We remind them where our office is if they need anything. We rotate. There's 4 different lunch periods, 2 study halls per lunch period. The social workers rotate each time we do a lesson. idea for varsity club. We know a lot of these students from the Interact Club, but we started kind of seeing how wonderful they are, and that's when we went to Mrs. Dempsey and proposed the idea. We really jumped on it. This summer we started our Fresh Start orientation program, and a lot of these guys jumped in and led activities for their freshmen and just were amazing. And we were like, how can we keep this climate of mentor-menteeship going throughout the school year? So we were very generously able to do a couple things to get this started with Mrs. Dempsey and the varsity club sponsors. Really, all they did was reach out to their varsity club members and say, does anyone want to do this? You have to give up your lunch. It is going to be, you know, you have to commit for the whole school year. You're going to be expected to be there every single lesson, and you're going to have to go to a training. We have 14. These are 5 of them. We have 11 other students, 2 extra ones this semester that jumped on board. They are giving up their lunch every week. They are awesome. All they get in return is service hours, but they are always on it. They're expected to know their curriculum. They're expected to know the activities, be ready to share their own experiences each week. You know, and just part of that is we know that it has benefits. These kind of programs have benefits for both the mentors and mentees, increased attendance rates, increased school engagement, feeling of belonging, and graduation rates. So that was kind of our purpose behind involving the varsity club students.
Again, I'm Lily Holman. I'm one of the other school social workers. So with kind of deciding to dive in with these varsity club members, we were able to do a training with them in fall. So all 14 students got to be involved in the training. We went over what a ruler lesson looks like, kind of some examples of lessons, kind of things that we were going to expect for them to do, but also was a great opportunity for us to hear from them specifically. What would you want to learn if you were a freshman today? What are some lessons that you would find most beneficial? You know, sometimes social emotional learning can be really kind of cut and dry, but it was a great opportunity for us to give them the opportunity and the voice, so they felt also really valued within this opportunity. So with all of our varsity club members who are volunteering, 5 of them are juniors, so 5 of them were in our pilot program, so they give a good kind of background on their experience. But some of the lessons that they talked about was time management skills. They thought that maybe we could talk more about finals, especially midterms for freshmen, talking about how to balance school life and activities. Once we introduce them and they talk about all of their activities, it's going to be very beneficial for how to do all of their balancing, because they have a whole list. So a huge benefit that we've seen so far is having these varsity club members is, again, just the ability for them to engage with that student-to-student contact. Kids sit and listen to teachers and adults all day long, but when they have somebody that's more along their peer level, they're more likely to engage, and our students do an amazing job with that. So here's just some examples of our students. So they're not just kind of standing in the front room leading our, icebreakers. They're getting in with their groups. They're helping students kind of feel a lot more involved in the lesson, giving their own personal feedback, which also kind of engages students as well to give their own input, which is super helpful. But overall, it's been a huge success. We've seen such a much more engagement. I did it last year as an intern, and I already have seen so much improvement in, student attendance rates for coming to FLC. We've seen huge improvements in, them being able to participate in activities. So that's been a huge, huge help. So we are going to let our varsity club members kind of talk about things that they like about ruler and some of the things that they've learned and benefit from so far. So we're going to start with Ryan.
Hi, I'm Ryan Lipset. I'm in a few clubs, honor societies here. I'm not going to explain them all. On my own free time, I like to try to establish myself as a youth mental health advocate. I've worked with organizations as well as at our school and with our social workers for Mental Health Week last year. But one of the main things that really is helpful for freshmen as well as anyone is knowing people. It's that feeling of not being alone. And seeing people with personality, being well-rounded in all these clubs can really help and drive that. Seeing someone in the hallway that you recognize and you're not afraid to talk to or ask a question. How do I join this club? Where is physics class at? So knowing people is a really big thing. And as well as Ms. Holman said, we wanted to hone in on like finals and stress management. And those are kind of the main topics that we targeted, that we obviously have a lot of personal experience with, getting all your AP classes, homework done, and studying for those stressful final days, and as well as skills for stressful times. We don't only talk about just homework, but how do you balance your sports, your clubs, as well as family, and all these different things that could add to a life of stress.
All right, Joey.
Hi, I'm Joey Progry, and I'm the varsity club president soccer and chess team. And yeah, when I was a freshman, ruler wasn't around. I didn't have ruler, and I think it would have been super beneficial when I was a freshman to have ruler because I'm a senior and I juggle all these things and I still don't have like perfect time management. So I think getting a head start in learning, especially from people like us up here that are already involved in all these stuff and do these things, and just hearing the tips from us, like get a jump start on working on time management is just super helpful.
I'm Morgan Reckowitz. I'm a junior. I'm on varsity softball and volleyball. I'm the junior executive for varsity club. And when I was a freshman, my first year, that was the first year that the social workers were doing ruler. So it's definitely a good experience when they came into our freshman learning center freshman year. And it helped us like they said freshman year with time management, learning how to like juggle everything you have during high school experience. And then when they came to us offering that we could help them with the freshman learning center and helping the freshmen that are coming in after us, we definitely like wanted to help them and explain like how to struggle finals, how to get your homework done, how to hang out with your friends even though you have practice and you have homework, like just being able to get everything done that you need to and still have the high school experience.
I'm Josh Lapashevsky. I am a student council executive committee chair. I'm part of varsity track, obviously varsity club, key club, interact. A big part of why I think ruler is so important is that the freshmen have a group of people who they know that they can come to talk to about whatever they want. They can look up to us. People always say, get involved, get involved. As student leaders for doing ruler, they now have a group of people that they can actively see being involved, obviously not only in this, but all across the board, throughout sports, academics, or just any extracurriculars. And it also helps where, obviously, if they're having a stressful time, they know that they can come to us, they can talk to us, we can help them out, and it's always good to just have friendly faces around the school.
Hi, I'm Jake Barrera. I was a varsity soccer captain. I'm in varsity club, interact club, NHS, and student council. So just a couple things. But starting through the summer, when they posted about varsity club and like getting into ruler, I saw this as like a great opportunity for me to inspire the freshmen, because it's really helpful to have seniors that are older than you to look up to, just like they were saying. And like, I saw this as a great opportunity for service, because
Good way to give back.
yeah, it's a good way to give back to the school. That's why I would.
And I just want to say all of our 16 varsity club members have been absolutely wonderful this year. We've, like Ms. Holman said, we've had such a good experience. These guys just excel at getting the students involved. Every time we teach with them, they are like, come on, don't you have an idea? Don't you have something to add? They're working the room. They are just doing such a good job. Morgan keeps us on track. If we forget something in the curriculum, she's like, you missed that. And it's just awesome to have them. I've been so impressed with them, and I really appreciate you guys all coming to talk about this with us, so thank you. That's it.
Thank you. I just want to say it's just a nice way of rolling in certainly some work that our social workers have been doing to help our students with mental health and the anxiety that came along with coming back after COVID, and just dealing with day-to-day mental health sorts of things and your emotions, and really allowing our other students to flourish through leadership. And then also, as anyone knows who's been involved in service, certainly board members would understand this, oftentimes you get a lot more out of the actions that you do while you're in service to others. So we just really appreciate the ability to link these two things together and have our students really learn not just about school things while they're in school, but about real life and how to be good people as well. So we just appreciate you so much, and thank you for doing a great job tonight. Thanks for coming out.
Thank you.
Ressler. Since the last regular board meeting, we received the following Freedom of Information Act request. Dan Markin, Dynasty Baseball 12U, requested the following documentation from the time period January 1, 2024 to January 9, 2025. Any and all documents or records regarding references provided by Daniel Markin for applicants seeking employment in the district. Any and all documents or records sent to outside employers pertaining to the reference Daniel Markin provided to potential candidates. And any and all documents or records received from Joliet Township District 204 regarding references Daniel Markin provided to potential candidates. This request has been completed. Owen Wang from South Cook News requested how many migrants, in parentheses, as an example, illegal aliens / non-US citizens are enrolled in your school district currently. This request has been completed. Just for a point of clarification, we do not maintain or track information like that, so we did provide the number of students eligible to participate in the immigration education program through ISBE. That number is 78. Sheila Norman, IRTA, requested the contact information of certified staff who are planning to retire in 2025. This request has been completed. Thank you.
All right, moving on to 3.4, our board member reports. Do we have any board members with reports?
So I attended a town hall meeting hosted by the Lincoln Option Center. They're based out of South Holland, Illinois. The CEO has been running this organization for about 30 years. There's 2 satellite locations in Hazel Crest. So the first location is 150 yards from South Suburban Hospital. The other one is about a quarter mile away from South Suburban. They are a community behavioral health center. I had to remember the acronym. But the great thing about them is they provide so many services for clients and other members in the community. They have behavioral health urgent care, which I think is phenomenal, much needed during these times. So people who are overwhelmed, stressed, people who are unhoused, they can pop in for 23 hours. At the 23rd hour, they'll step out for a second and then come back in and restart the process. This organization connects them with timely resources, so housing, food. They offer assistance for pregnant moms, post and pre and postnatal care. So I think it's really great. I think they're going to be a phenomenal resource for our families and our neighbors in general. So I was really happy that I was able to make it there. And I had information for you all, but it was cold. I was trying to hurry up come in, so I'll have to bring it next time.
And when you get that, I'll share that out too.
Perfect, thank you.
Any other board member reports? All right, moving on to new business, 4.1. Dr. Morrison.
Item 4.1 is the January 2025 bills, addendum to bills, payroll, and CDS bills. These items are being recommended for full board approval.
So moved. Second.
Moved by Ms. Gleason, second by Ms. Motley. Any